Hello, everybody. My name is Elena Machi, and today I will be giving you an overview of the Insider Threat Dashboard. This is a great dashboard to use if you would like to understand who are the top risky users in your environment. For today's overview, I will be showing you how you can access this dashboard. Then I will give you a walkthrough on what these visuals show and some of the nuances that you need to be aware of. And finally, we'll close out by discussing how you would tune this dashboard to your environment. Along the way, we will also discuss some of the actions and recommendations we provide for you to take as a result of seeing some of the data in this dashboard. So let's begin by how you can access this dashboard. This dashboard can be found in the Netskope library, so simply click on the Netskope library link on the left-hand side, and then navigate to the dashboard, which is called Insider Threat Dashboard, which may be located on the second page. And here it is, Insider Threat Dashboard. Here we are in our dashboard, and let's take a look at what we see. At the very top, we see a view that shows us our top 10 riskiest users. On the left-hand side, you will see the users listed. On the bottom, you will see a scale representing the number of risky events or alerts generated by each user. And most importantly, the colored bars in the visualization represent the type of risky behavior observed for each user. So for example, if we look at this first user right here, we will see that they have a large section of light blue, which represents uploads to non-corporate instances. And you can see when we hover over that there are 448 such events. On the bottom, there is a legend that tells you exactly the type of risky behavior that we are looking at in this view. Another thing to remember is that most, if not all, of these views are drillable, and you are able to drill in on the details and get additional context that make up these numbers. For example, if we wanted to learn a little bit more about the precede events here in the purple, for this particular user, we can simply click on this bar and select Show All, and we will get a table with additional details. We will have information such as the timestamp of when this event occurred, the application, the instance of that application, the activities, and even object names if those are relevant. One other thing to note is that the risky users listed here will only appear in this view if they have generated risky traffic in 3 categories. Those categories are intentional risky behavior, potential data loss, and cloud threats. And we will go through those in a moment. But meanwhile, you should know that if you don't have users appearing in this list, it does not mean you do not have risky users. And you should scroll down and check the other section to see what information can be found there. And we'll go ahead and do that now. Coming to our first section, intentional risky behavior, here we see the top users who are triggering uploads to non-corporate instance events or UEBA alerts, which are bulk uploads, bulk downloads, and user-shared credentials. The setup of this view is similar to the one we just saw prior, where we have the users on the left-hand side with a scale indicating the number of events or alerts, along with the legend and colored bars that represent the type of risky behavior that has been detected. Please note you can also deselect these items so you can see a little bit more detail into some events that are triggering not as often. On the right-hand side, we have a description about what this is showing, along with some recommendations. And for these specific users, the recommendation is to add these users to a watch list and to tighten controls through policy development and modification. What we will see below this view is each of the risky behaviors broken out on its own. And this is the pattern that will be followed in the entire dashboard. Let's look at one example of this. Here we have uploads to non-corporate instances with no document classification. In these views, you can first see the number of users we are detecting who are performing this behavior. Currently 314 who are uploading to non-corporate instances. We see the top 10 users who are performing uploads to non-corporate instances, and we see a trend over time of all users who are performing uploads to non-corporate instances. We also have a trend line in each of these views so you can get a sense of whether or not the behavior is on the increase or on the decrease. As mentioned before, each of the sections will follow the same pattern. The second section of this dashboard is potential data loss. Here we are looking at the top users who are either choosing to proceed when they are coached or users who are triggering DLP violations. The format of this view are the same as we already reviewed. And also on the right-hand side, again, there is some description of the data being shown and some recommendations. For users with potential data loss activity, the recommendations would be to put these users on the watch list and or provide security awareness or compliance training. As with the other sections, below this view, we see each of the individual risky behaviors broken out. Our third and final section is cloud threats. Here we are looking at users who are encountering malware, malicious sites, or have compromised credential alerts. The recommendations for these users is to make sure users are provided with security awareness or compliance training, to initiate password change for users identified with compromised credentials, and to implement user coaching policies to modify behavior. A final recommendation is to implement additional controls such as block or quarantine of malware and malicious sites. This concludes the overview section, and next we will be discussing how to customize this dashboard. The quickest and easiest way to customize the insider threat dashboard is to use the dashboard level filters. The most important filter to consider is the application instance ID filter, because this is the filter you would use to define your corporate instances. This is important because when we are looking at uploads to non-corporate instances, we have to know what your corporate instances are so that we don't count them towards the non-corporate instance data movement. For this reason, what you want to do up here is when you start using this dashboard, click into this filter and add your corporate instances. For example, if your company is Bob's Bank and your OneDrive instance is bobsbank.com, you would simply put bobsbank.com here and press enter, and then refresh the dashboard. Thank you for watching today's presentation on the Insider Threat Dashboard. Be sure to check out our other sessions coming soon to this series.